The best thing was that we were young and looking forward to it, and we were like full of life. And the worst thing about it was terrible for fashion.
Today, we're going to play a game called The Best and Worst of Things.
Oh my
Are you
God.
ready?
No.
To begin with, what's the best thing about being famous and what's the worst thing about it?
But the best thing about being famous is you're recognized everywhere. And the worst thing about it is also that you're recognized everywhere.
Okay. The best thing about starting your career in the 80s, in the mid 80s, and the worst thing about it.
The best thing was that we were young and looking forward to it, and we were like full of life. And the worst thing about it was terrible for fashion.
Okay. The best thing about the digital age of cinema and the worst thing about it.
Wow. The best thing about digital age is that everything is instant and everything happens like this. The worst thing is that you have to do too many promotions. Like the digital age has brought with it like too much media everywhere.
Okay. What's the best thing you've realized as an actor and what's the worst realization you've had?
This is a tough one. Best thing as an actor is you get to play so many different characters, you get to play so many different roles, which I find very exciting. So that's the best thing about being an actor. The worst thing about being an actor is everything else that goes with it. All the baggage, and you have to be, always well dressed, always well turned out, all the hair done, and makeup, and this and that. That's the worst thing.
Okay. And what's the best thing about making reels and what is the worst thing about it?
The best thing is reels is fun. I just enjoy making reels. The worst thing is you have to find out what you want to do because there's so much to do, and to find out that what exactly you want to do from there. I mean, that's the worst thing.
What's the best thing about doing your own makeup and what's the worst thing about it?
Oh God. So best thing is that you can get ready really quickly because you're doing your own makeup and it's fast. But the worst thing is sometimes if your eyebrows like decide to be two different shapes, if your eyelashes don't stick and those becomes like you're like tearing your hair out then.
That's every woman's problem ever. Okay. And what is the best thing and the worst thing about taking selfies?
Oh my God. Yeah, taking selfies. The best thing is that, you have so many pictures in your phone. Like I have more than like 10,000 pictures in my phone because we are taking selfies. Everywhere we go, we are taking pictures and this and that. But the worst thing is you become obsessed with taking selfies then and you're forgetting to look. I tell my children, look outside the window, look at what you're looking at. Just don't keep taking selfies, So that's what happens. You get obsessed.
I hope you don't mind when I ask for one.
See?
Okay. What is the best and the worst thing about being spotted at an airport?
I don't know, spotted. Maybe your fans love that, she's going somewhere and we know where she's going. But the worst thing is then you have to get dressed. Every time you're at the airport, you have to be well turned out. Because the day you decide to put oil in your hair and go incognito like that, there'll be like 10 photographers there. So you always have to be like well turned out.
Okay.
You have to make that effort.
Okay. What is the best thing about being loved by millions of people? We know you are. And what's the most, would you say, difficult thing about it?
Well, it's a wonderful feeling to be loved by so many people, like millions of people. The worst thing is I want it to be trillions. Millions is not enough. It should be trillions of people working.
Nice. Okay. What's the best choreography you've ever danced to? And I won't say worst, but what's the most difficult one, let's say?
I think the best choreography, I mean, there's so many songs of mine which are, even I love them. So it's hard to say which one was the best. I think the most difficult was dancing with Prabhu Deva. That's definitely the most difficult choreography. But I enjoyed it thoroughly because he's such a good dancer. And he's such a nice person and a lovely choreographer. It was so nice to dance with him.
And we love that song too.
Thank you.
According to you, what's the best scene you've ever shot and what's the most difficult one you ever shot?
The best scene. My God, there's so many movies I've done, so many scenes. I think in Beta, all our scenes with between me and Aruna Irani, Aruna Irani ji, where we are trying to be one up on each other. I think that those scenes I really enjoyed doing. The most difficult scene for me was in Prem Granth, when I'm burying my own child who's died, and I'm burying him in the rain, and I think that was the most difficult scene to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching these, growing up, and I remember that scene very well. It's giving me goosebumps. What's the best thing about starring in the Fame game, and what's the most difficult thing about it?
Well, it's wonderful starring in the Fame game because I have a bunch of fantastic actors with me. I'm working with Sanjay after I don't know how many years after Mohabbat. That was the last thing we did together, and we're working again. The difficult thing was that though there's a commonality between my character Anamika Anand and me, in the sense that we both are stars, but there's a lot of difference between us because the way I grew up or the kind of life I led is very different from what she is. And to get into her shoes and give that kind of layered character, give it life on screen, that was difficult.
What do you think is the best thing about your character, Anamika, and what's the worst thing about her?
Well, the best thing about her that she's a fighter, and she will always fight for what she thinks is hers and what is rightfully hers. The worst thing about her is that she is also a very gullible kind of a person. She can get manipulated by people, and that's what is the worst thing about her.
Okay, what was the best thing about this game, and what was the worst thing about it?
The best thing about this game is that I have this lovely smiling face in front of me, who's giving me the right energy. And the worst thing is I have to really think about what I'm going to say.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Madhuri Dixit, and you're watching me on Femina. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.